Radio Shack Busters in their original widescreen format. Free Mercury Tracer LTS.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Multiverse Movie Club. This is episode 3. We're just diving right on into this movie that I got to choose this week. But before we get to that, I'm just going to introduce my co-host Joel, my usual co-host for the show so far.
Yeah, so far we haven't put any feelers out for any guests, but even if we did, I don't know how many people you could try and talk into watching Lifeforce with you, Matt.
I don't know. You get probably if you got to sell them on it. I think that's the you got to say yes. It's about space vampires, but then it's also really not.
Yeah, it's all about the pitch. Honestly, as we'll discuss, Lifeforce is about It's about 5 different movies throughout the course of watching it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Film changed so rapidly to where there are moments where I'm like, am I even watching the same movie? Was this even made by the same people? What is even going on?
If you haven't guessed it, this episode is on the 1985 film Lifeforce, directed by Tobe Hooper. This movie was produced by the legendary Cannon Film Group. Cannon, if you're not familiar, they were like a film company in the 70s, 80s, and like very, very early 90s before they went bankrupt. They just made schlock.
Oh, did they ever?
They were run by these two, I think they were 2 Israeli guys. They just wanted to make movies and they did anything and everything to get like money to make movies. And you got to respect that they made some like horrible shit though. It's just slop.
They did, and yet they also kind of affected the landscape of American movies, especially action movies, forever. This is the house that the two Charleses built, right? Charles Bronson and Chuck Norris. They like the bulk of their movies came out through these guys.
Yes, they did. Invasion USA.
It's time.
The Death Wish films after number 1. Superman 4 is a canon film.
Oh, that should tell you everything you need to know right there.
Effective immediately, I'm going to rid our planet of all nuclear weapons.
Our audience will appreciate that.
Lifeforce is kind of different because Lifeforce is directed by Tobe Hooper, who is no slouch. Tobe Hooper is someone who I think a lot of people might know because he is the director of Poltergeist.
Yes.
He's director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2.
Yes, again, that's what I knew him right away. I'm like, Hooper, is that the Texas Chainsaw guy? And indeed it was. That's a movie with a really messed up history we might need to cover one day. But I'm like, Texas Chainsaw 1, another movie that changed everything in its genre, a real, watershed moment. Ooh, and Texas Chainsaw 2. And also he produced all the crappy follow-ups because he probably needed the money at a point. He's one of those guys that they say he's a master of horror. Yeah, and he's also a master of schlock too. Those things aren't mutually exclusive.
He's done a lot of good stuff, but then also a lot of like horror schlock. It can be pretty good, it can be pretty bad, but unfortunately though, he's no longer with us. I think he died in 2016, 17.
Shame. He is a dying breed of director, a dude who put up numbers. I believe in the year this came out, 85, he put out 3 different movies. It was this, another space movie, and I think Chainsaw 2 were all in the same year.
Yeah, these were all, he had like a 3-picture deal with Cannon. It was this one, I think it was then Invaders from Mars, which is a remake of a 1950s film.
Right.
And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Crazy. Again, to think that anyone would be that much of a machine anymore, to be just like, yes, I just live, eat, sleep, and breathe making movies, and they're not all going to be good, but it's a numbers game, man. It's a numbers game.
And I think this was also the year after he directed Poltergeist for Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Which, if you believe the rumors about that film, some people think Steven Spielberg directed that film and Tobe Hooper's name was just on it just to kind of sell it.
I have heard, yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned before this was written by the same guy who did his Invaders from Mars film. And
Please do.
I want to talk about the writer because the writer is Dan O'Bannon. Dan O'Bannon has had a very, very interesting history. He is the writer of Alien.
You can see a lot of Alien in this, especially in the beginning.
Yes, he wrote the screenplay for Alien. He wrote and directed The Return of the Living Dead, which is another film we got to do on this show because that's a great film.
Classic.
He did like effects work on Star Wars, on the original Star Wars. He's worked with like John Carpenter. He also wrote some of the stuff on Total Recall, the Arnold Schwarzenegger film. Unfortunately, Dan is no longer with us either. I think he died in 2009, I think.
A lot of these guys lived fast, died young, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely see his signature style all over this space horror. What is it? Lovecraft-inspired space horror, you say? Tell me more.
Yeah, this is based on a book, I believe, called The Space Vampires by Colin Wilson.
Yes.
Which is very, very similar, but the movie is like completely different.
Is.
There's like bits and pieces of it here, but like for the most part, the movie is just completely different.
From what I understand in my research, this movie was actually supposed to be called The Space Vampires, and it was supposed to be a much smaller, much cheaper, much more book-loyal version of the story that Hooper was doing, but because Cannon had been having so much success at this point in history, like I said, with the Bronsons and with, the Norrises and everything, they said, you know what, screw it, here's $25 million, do whatever you want, blow this one up to, super big blockbuster quality, and that's what he did. His only, caveat from that is like, okay, I will take the money, I will, change my artistic vision, but I get to do whatever I want with it, and oh boy, does this feel like a movie where someone got to do whatever they wanted with very little oversight.
Oh yeah. This is, I think, during the time where like Cannon was like because they were making movies so cheaply, the return on them would be like astronomical. So like they do like Death Wish 2 and it'd make like they do that for like real cheap and it'd make like millions and millions, hundreds of millions.
I was gonna say like what Blumhouse is doing now.
Yeah, which I think Blumhouse has kind of like found the end of that with that recent Megan movie. And
they put a lot of money on that, didn't they? I'm like, wow, this looks pretty expensive, doesn't it? You guys are really hoping this will be your next Terrifier level hit, huh?
I know all this from there's this amazing documentary on them called Electric Boogaloo. Came out a couple of years ago, and it tells you like everything about like this Wild Studios history from like their start to like how they ended and mob ties, cocaine in the office, all that sort of stuff. This is great. This
Lifeforce is definitely a movie that could only be made in the era of cocaine, both for the intensity, the intensity and just the general insanity behind it. You needed to be chemically altered in some way to make all of this happen.
Yeah, but well, enough preamble. Let's dive straight on into the film. Because you kind of do just dive straight on into the film. You get a wonderful score by the
Symphony Orchestra.
People who did stuff like Star Wars' theme, Superman. They spared no expense on doing things for this film.
It is so shockingly classy that we get this big budget orchestra to underpin what is ultimately this schlocky B movie. And the rest of the movie is Henry Mancini, the dude who did goddamn Pink Panther and like Breakfast at Tiffany's and shit, where I was so lulled into a full sense of security in this movie where I'm like, wait, I thought Matt, gave me a piece of crap to watch. You mean to tell me that this is like going to be classy and artsy and it's filled with British people? By God, what kind of movie have I gotten into? And then Rails shows up later and I'm like, okay, here we go.
That's the classic Cannon bait and switch.
But yeah, we're out in space. We got a British space crew. Oh, we're on a very British mission. Oh, Halley's Comet. Oh, we're getting readings.
The HMS Churchill, outward bound. On board a joint British-American space team. Their mission, to intercept and study the comet bearing Dr. Edmund Halley's name.
And then in comes our American lead character here, Carson. Hey, everybody, I'm the American in this movie. And I'm like, oh, I guess it was a joint operation, huh? Wow, this really slapped me in the face.
Yes, this is Colonel Tom Carlson, played by Steve Railsback, who I've seen him in a couple of different things, and he always looks like he both has back problems and is very tired.
Yeah, he looks very sick, and this is like our male lead, and like this is like when he would have been younger and fitter. Yeah, he looks very, very ill. The thing I always know him from is he's one of the deputies in Devil's Rejects who shows up at the Firefly house and gets shot at, because this was the kind of movie. He's making the kind of movies that Rob Zombie is referencing. I made schlock. I made, tons of crap. I made multiple episodes of television back in the day. I'm an actor's actor is what I was.
Yes, he is. And it's really funny because, again, the classic canon bait and switch. You think, oh, he's the American. He's here. Mm-hmm. He's going to be the main character. Not really, no.
No, he disappears for a huge chunk of the movie, actually.
Yeah. Which made me, when I first saw this film, I only saw this film a couple of years ago when I was first introduced to it. And I thought, like, oh, is this a case of one of those things where they're like, the movie's been like cut to shit and they've made this other character the main character via editing,
right?
And it's like, no, that's not the case at all. The movie just like is just cut like that.
It's just weirdly put together. Now, ironically, you mentioned cuts. We're watching the Blu-ray director's cut version of it, which I think most people consider to be the version of the movie to watch, even though if you're familiar with this movie, you might have only seen the American VHS version, which is about an hour. The one we're watching is about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's about an hour 56 or something. That's like, the director international cut, which I believe Tobe Hooper's that's the one he liked, which is the one why I chose it, and it was on the Arrow Video 4K that I've got.
I will say it is a very nice Blu-ray. Movie shot at this point in time with the lighting they had to use and the rigs and the effects. It looks really nice in 4K. It looks really nice in Blu-ray. And then there's some effects where it's like, ooh, that looks really bad. That was clearly never meant to be seen in this ratio, in this, level of fidelity.
Yeah, this was meant to be seen on TRT,
Yep, better. And yet we're also kind of screwing up stuff from the past where it's like, no, it was never meant to look like that.
Yeah.
This is why we all need to buy CRTs and VHSs again, is what we need to do. Reject maternity, return to VHS.
I'd be happy if they made it like so it was easy to buy CRTs or like a VHS player again. I'd happily do that. We're trying to find one nowadays.
Right.
Impossible. It's not really impossible. It's more so the fact that they're really expensive.
$200 for a VHS player on eBay right now, and God help you if you want one of those TV VCR combos out there, which I know a lot of people get to play video games actually, because the PS2 and everything works a lot better on those TVs. Yeah, it's get fucked basically.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But seriously, all those people who have those like little VHS rooms in their house and everything, if I had the room and if I had the money, that would be my old guy obsession right now. That would be my fishing and my grilling. Just leave me with my tapes in my VHS room so I can watch Lifeforce the way it was intended.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would do that too if I had the space and the money.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's a classic sci-fi setup we're dealing with right here. You've heard it 100 times before. In fact, you heard it in Aliens, which was already out for a couple years before this came out. A crew is wandering through space. They find an anomaly, some mysterious derelict craft. Hey, should we go investigate? And they don't go investigate and the movie is over.
They kind of happen upon it because they're investigating, or they're like researching Halley's Comet, which when this movie came out was actually passing Earth the next year.
Oh, was it?
So
actually?
They did it as like, which I think is why it's in the film. I think like because it's not in the film in the book that this film is based on, and I think they saw that and went, hey, that'll be like a cool like kind of tie-in sort of thing.
Right. So they're being topical and timely and everything. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. They even get into some stuff like about what comets have meant to people throughout the decades and throughout mythology and everything, and they brought up some interesting stuff that I never even considered, and that is at points throughout human history, comets were considered to be, evil in their nature. They were considered to be bad omens because they were, they were day stars, they were morning stars, Lucifer, morning star, the devil, man, it's all connected.
Yeah, the star wormwood, all that sort of stuff,
Which when they broke that down, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and you think back in like, ancient times, you see some glowing ball in the sky hurtling across the sky, you think, well, what the fuck is that? What the fuck's happening?
Again, I who will die of dysentery by 30, me who has, does not know numbers and math, sees a ball of sky fire. Yep, must be the devil, world must be ending.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, debate me. Because that's how they talked back then.
They find this long, weird-looking organic alien craft, and they of course go and venture into it. Inside, they find all of these like frozen in space bat-like creatures and a bunch of human bodies.
Yes, very, very creepy, very messed up. Though they all kind of undersell it. The astronauts and it's just like, man, pretty weird, huh? Where I would be losing my goddamn mind and screaming.
It's Steve Railsback though, because he's tired. He doesn't have the energy to as a space alien as he's fallen asleep floating through space. Yeah.
I've been up drinking and smoking all night. Can we get this done, man? Can we just get this over with? He's very much like a suave boomhauer. Railsback is what he is. Dang it out, I tell you, these space vampires. Dang it out, I tell you, dang oh. but best be no evil over in this next room over here. I hope not. But there was evil in the next room, Matt.
There was. Yeah, well, in the next room, there was 3 people sealed in fucking Fortress of Solitude crystal.
It really is, isn't it? Like, I know what they're trying to do, where it's like, no, see, they're crystal coffins, because they're space vampires and everything, but in my mind, I'm like, nope, that's some Superman tech. These are rogue Kryptonians, and you can't tell me they're not. They are 100% rogue Kryptonians. There's 1 woman and 2 men, and this naked woman is so beautiful and so alluring. All the guys on this space crew become goddamn Tex Avery characters. They start, drooling from the mouths. They start, slapping themselves in the heads. It's just too much.
The eyes burst out of their heads, and all that stuff. Yeah. Which kind of fits with the whole like vampire, luring you in sort of thing that vampires often do.
It is, but what's really interesting about it, and I picked this up right away, it's an inverse of the traditional Dracula story, where it's Dracula and his brides who end up, coercing and, in bewitching the female characters here, because it's basically a lady Dracula. She ends up bewitching all the men in the cast, and really, the whole plot of this movie is that, Steve Railsback as Colonel Carson is so horny for this space vampire that he pretty much ends up dooming all of Earth.
I say we take back all 3. One of the dead things in the other chamber.
Well,
but yeah, he's like drawn into him and agrees to like bring all 3 coffins back to the Churchill, which then also becomes like when the Dracula comparison, it's like, oh, the Churchill is just basically the Demeter.
It really is.
It's ferrying these coffins to the new world.
Yes, it's the British ship is called the Churchill, which of course makes a lot of sense because, one of the most famous wartime prime ministers of all time. And the American ship that goes to check on the Churchill is called the Columbia, which used to be like the crazy American angel woman who was like America's mascot before Uncle Sam kind of assumed her. In fact, I do believe the vice president of the United States, whenever he goes anywhere, he doesn't get the presidential march. He gets Hail Columbia. But I feel that's a part of American history that's kind of been lost.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, I don't know why I know that either. I don't know what documentary I fell asleep listening to. But yeah, it used to be called Hail Columbia, and Columbia is that angel woman. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's why in that Mass Effect game, that's why the floating city is called Columbia.
Yeah, okay.
How about that? Bet you didn't think I could work in, BioShock, huh?
They bring the 3 coffins back on to the shuttle, and then it loses contact with Earth. Yeah, well, I mean, we should probably talk about the effects of this film, because they're for the most part they're pretty good, and that is because the guy supervising the effects is John Dykstra, massive guy in the effects world. He did a lot of Star Wars effects. He's done quite a fair bit of Star Wars stuff, and he's still to this day doing stuff, I believe.
It's just the workmanship you love when you watch old stuff like this, because it's like, they couldn't just, whip a VXF department to get this looking perfectly when they're floating around through space, and to have every pixel, be a glowing, shiny monument to itself. Here, they had to, like you said, hang people from string and make shit work, and later on, they had to, like, rock rooms to make stuff happen, and blow up actual vehicles. More vehicles than you would think.
More vehicles and like small scale, like miniature sets, which I really like. When they start attacking London a little later on, they blow up.
Absolutely.
But it looks good, but it's really funny because like when I think of canon, I think of all their slop.
Same.
So like you look at this and you're like, wow, there's like an actual, you could see where the budget came into and everything. And then you go and look at something like Superman 4, which had its budget slashed. Like Superman's budget was like half of this film.
Absolutely.
And it shows. It fucking shows.
Superman, no one's going to want to see that. Lifeforce is where it's at, though. Going to be the kickoff to a brand new franchise. But yeah, the Columbia hails the ship. They go to investigate, and the whole place has been royally messed up. There's, burn damage all over the place. The crew is dead, and an escape pod seems to be missing.
Yeah, and that doesn't come back into the film for like another hour.
It doesn't. I'm shocked how long that plot line just absolutely disappears. So it's like, so you're going to put a team together to go find that, right? Surely whoever was on that escape pod will tell you what, nope, we're completely changing gears, and the movie is now almost like a haunted house, haunted facility, like old-timey Invasion of the Body Snatchers style horror movie now. Okay.
Yeah, Tobe Hooper wanted to make it like a Hammer horror film, and a lot of it feels like it's filmed with it, like especially with like how he's lit the whole film with like shadows, and like especially one of the bad guys a little later on in the film, the old doctor guy. He feels like, oh, that's a Hammer horror character.
Again, Dr. Salad, or is it Falad?
Falada. Yeah,
Falada is like, let me guess, you definitely offered this role to Christopher Lee, didn't you?
Yeah, it feels like a Christopher Lee, a Peter Cushing.
Yeah, he's definitely... I mean, this whole movie, like I said, is filled with some very well-respected English actors who, even though they're making schlock, even though they are making slop, they are giving 110% to this fucking silly premise that will eventually boil down to a naked alien vampire woman tries to take over the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's that British work ethic. They did the same thing on like the Alien films, where it's like, this is kind of, schlocky, aliens bursting out of people, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah, I can see why this became the cult movie that it did, because there's something truly wonderful about great actors and great performers trying to elevate weak material.
Yeah, it's always really fun.
It's like a challenge. It's like every great performer should have to do that once in their life. Here's a dog shit script that you got to really, really give 110.
Yeah.
It's how I feel at this point, being a YouTuber and, my own shit work. It's bad, but I come in every week and give it 110.
Yeah, if I just up the energy a little bit in the voiceover, it'll be fine.
Yeah, right. It'll be fine. No one's paying attention. It'll be fine.
Sumner, I think there's something you ought to see in the tug bay.
The only thing that's left on the ship is, of course, the three alien life forms themselves, the three space vampires, or the space girl, as they keep calling her for the rest of this.
Yeah, they find those, and they find the rest of the corpses are all like dead and like desiccated and burned and everything, and they head to, I think it's called the European Space Research Centre in London, where a big chunk of our film takes place, because it now becomes sort of like, and I kind of respect it for it, where it becomes like a science movie where they're like trying 100%. To figure out what the fuck is going on, like what are these things, what's going on.
It reminded me so much of like the first Godzilla, where like all everyone remembers about the first black and white Godzilla is Godzilla wrecking buildings and doing cool stuff. You forget that like 60, almost 70% of the movie is just guys in lab coats being like,
The same with the most recent Shin Godzilla from 2016, where like, that's mostly like people in like boardroom meetings trying to figure out like the logistics of this creature.
Yeah, from a city planning point of view, how do we deal with this Godzilla threat?
Exactly.
Will this affect garbage pickup tomorrow? Will this affect school routes? And the answer is yes, it will. But so we spend a lot of time in what is basically the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, the very extraordinary, very English gentlemen, as they keep stiff upper lips and talk about what's going on.
The order. I don't know that I'm qualified to pass judgment on alien death.
You would agree that they're less alive than we are.
Yeah, they don't know what's going on. They then suddenly, I think the female is the first to awaken, and she drains the life of one of the guys, like doing tests on her, takes his life force and turns him into like this weird zombie corpse, which dies and then comes back to life as like a zombie vampire.
Yes, for those keeping track at home, this movie now has aliens, vampires, but also zombies.
Yeah, and they're interchangeable too, where it's like, is this a zombie vampire, or is it just a zombie now. We kind of get zombies later on.
Yes,
but they're not zombies because they're the vampire. Yeah, it's very all over the place.
Yeah, they make a passing reference to be like, oh, well, these second generations are... I'm like, you just wanted to do zombies. You just wanted to do vampires and zombies in your movie. You had $25 million and no one to tell you not to. So this movie is now apparently everything.
Yeah, it's fine. It's cool. It will blow up a city. It's cool.
Yeah, well, we haven't talked about it either, but it bears repeating. The reason Lifeforce is probably infamous is that for a lot of young men out there, this was probably the first time in your horror movie you were allowed prolonged full frontal nudity from a woman. That's the thing. Our killer du jour, our space monster, is just a naked woman who goes around doing space vampire stuff. And my whole time watching this, you know what shot into my head, and I haven't thought about this in years?
What's that?
Did you remember the anime series Elfen Lied?
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Is this not just 100% Elfen Lied, a naked woman with vague powers going around blowing people up and causing chaos? I looked into it and I'm like, hey, Lifeforce Japan, does Japan like this? Apparently the mangaka who did Cutie Honey and a couple other big manga series, this is apparently his favorite movie.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
East meets West. We all, inspire each other. The wheel keeps on turning.
Yeah, damn. Yeah. And as you said, I'm sure this is probably the thing the movie is remembered for the most, not the really cool effects, which we'll see a little bit later on. It's, I think the woman's name is Matilda May.
Yes.
I think this was like her first acting role.
I believe it was.
I think it was one of those cases where someone like saw her and was like, hey, that's a really pretty woman. Let's put her in films.
Yes, and let's also get her naked because this is the 80s and we can be a little weird and skeezy about it.
And this is canon film. They love that. They fucking love that shit. Outside of action, that was like their second selling.
Well, you see, sex and violence are the cornerstone to any good cinematic diet there, Matt. They're the two flavors. Yeah. They're the sweet and salty of cinema. Violence and sex. And again, the movie, again, I'm not going to sit here and like dissect, what are the sexual politics of 1985 and of the movie Lifeforce. Look, it's not good. There's a bit later where once Railsback returns to the story, he's basically here just to yell and hit women, which he does a lot of.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, I remember I watched the film again last night. I'm like, I completely forgot he does all this sort of shit. Yeah, he's just wandering around to like different women and Patrick Stewart and just like slapping the shit out of him.
Yes, he does, while being in a sex-crazed fervor throughout the whole movie. And I'm like, that's our protagonist. Well, he's one of our protagonists. There's Carson. There's also Special Air Force Agent Kane. There's another Sir guy. And then, of course, the Doctor. And they're all pretty interchangeable. They all kind of get their turn to be the main character.
Yeah, that's the problem this film has, is that it, like for long stretches of the film, there is no like main character to like, it's just rooms full of white guys looking through like glass at a naked lady being like, what's she doing? Why is she doing this? And like, there's no one to like kind of like take us in a direction.
No. In fairness, I guess it is kind of perfect, if we're trying to tap into cultural fears. What would British men be the most afraid of in this time? Oh, Lord, a naked woman. Oh, no, her chumblies are out. Oh, no, what are we going to do? Please, someone call the king, call the government, get them together, convene parliament. We must talk about this. And that's basically the, second act of this movie.
Yeah, because, she wakes up, she drains the guard, she like half drains like another guy before it's interrupted. She escapes, and then the two male aliens wake up.
Don't look bloody dead to me.
They get like shot to shit on their way out, but they survive because they're aliens. Yeah, so it's actually pretty cool. See, they like shoot the shit out of them. There's like cool practical effects of like just being riddled with bullets, and then I think they get blown up by something.
Yes, they throw a grenade. Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of this like medical facility.
It's fine. It's the 80s. Everyone was doing it. What's the point of even having grenades if we don't get to throw them?
Then this is where we learn that they really are vampires, because the guy that the woman drained comes back to life in a really cool practical like puppet.
Yeah.
He's on the operating table, his arms are going all that, and he drains someone. And that's where we find sort of like the cycle where it's like he becomes the vampire, he has to eat, and if he doesn't, he dies in a very explosive way, and he just like blows into like dust.
He too needs feeding.
Yeah, they turn to pure dust. I was very much reminded of The Mummy. What's even funnier, too, is that they put a time limit on this where it's like, look, you know, a new vampire spawn must feed, what was it, every 2 hours or they'll explode?
They have to constantly be eating, otherwise they then explode. But then also they can also, some of them can like transfer their consciousness.
Yes.
Like other people, it goes into that second gen, first gen vampire sort of thing, because the girl is able to like transfer her consciousness into another woman.
Yes.
Which is how she escapes the facility and goes out into London and starts like attacking people.
Obviously the work of the girl. You think we could have this body sent back to the center with the others?
Yes, I suppose that's a good idea.
She also is sure to, like, you know, put her mind into, like, one of the most British ladies. You know, she's wearing green with bright red hair and freckles and everything. I laughed about that. I thought that was funny. Yep. By God, we'll never be able to find her out there. That's every woman here.
Yeah, they go from, like, the most distinct looking woman they can to, like, the most common woman. Yeah.
Yes, by God, you know, they truly are evil masterminds.
Yeah, and this is also where we find that, like, some time has passed because Carlson comes back into the story. They find the escape pod when it crashes back to Earth, and he's got, like, a big beard and everything. But then, like, because the movie's editing is, like, really quickly, it goes from, like, that.
Yes, it is.
They learn that he's alive, and they're like, get him to the office. And then in the next scene, he's, like, completely like shaven, he's in his like military garb, and he's fine, he's completely fine. They don't have that scene where he's, you know, sits in front of a therapist and like cries because of what he saw in space.
No, we gotta move fast, Matt. We got a vampire threat we gotta deal with here. No time for love, Dr. Jones. And yeah, he tells them the story where it's like, okay, well, you gotta tell us what the hell happened. What is it, on the spaceship? And he's like, oh, you know, it was terrible. You know, these aliens, you know, they got into the minds of the crew. They drove them crazy. You know, they all turned on me and on each other. It was all I could do to, you know, to set that fire and to try and save Earth.
On the trip back to Earth, the crew began to die, one by one.
Yeah, I remember, like, watching this scene, I'm thinking, this scene feels like this could have, like, opened the film.
Right.
You could have opened the film with this and be like, oh, and do like the like finding the ship as like a flashback. And then it's like, okay, then we're in the... I think that probably would sort a lot of things out with this film, like pacing problems.
It once again becomes another movie, basically, because now we need to get Railsback's point of view, Carson's point of view on the ship. And it's like, well, if you were going to do this, you probably just should have kept going. Why did we have a whole middle part here meeting with these English guys?
Yeah, just do all the space stuff, then get into all this stuff.
Yeah, like you clearly shot it. It was clearly here. Did you think we were going to get bored?
Yeah, maybe they just wanted to space it all out so it wasn't like, you know, like on a YouTube video where you like look at it and there's that big rise of like where people like start the video. yeah,
the 80s equivalent of, you know, the big viewership dip that they were all paying attention to. And it's like, okay, you know, the movie was kind of losing me there when it was like a weird guys in lab coats movie. It's kind of bringing me back now because Carson is, as we said, absolutely unhinged. He's very tired. He's very sick. His eyes are popping out of his head. He's sweating and he's yelling and he's having nightmares. And I'm like, okay, well, where the hell is the movie going to go from here? And Dr. Fallada's like, I think I know what I can do. I'm going to hypnotize you because this is the 80s and that is a cure-all for every problem in movies.
Yeah, I think it's also this part we get, I think really the only jump scare in the film, which is like that great shot of where it's like all dark and then suddenly like bam, there's like this giant massive like alien vampire on the guy. It's great.
That is pretty good. I did like that a lot. I'm like, holy shit. It actually did make me jump because I didn't think it was coming because I didn't think it was that kind of movie.
Yeah, no, Tobe Hooper does that in a couple of his films. In Poltergeist and in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he has like that one scene where it's like, just got to shock the audience. It's like the bird in Citizen Kane. You got to wake the audience up and like, oh, what's going on here? Giant alien vampire, okay.
This is true. In fact, I think if we look at it historically, we could argue he is one of the great progenitors of the jump scare.
Yeah, I'd argue, yeah.
Wow, I never thought about that. Holy shit. Give the man his flowers.
Yeah, we learn that he has a psychic connection with the space woman, because we learn that like he was like drawn to her on the ship, and they like switched some life essence between each other or something. It's very vague, very vague.
Oh, is that what the kids are calling it these days? Swapping life essence? Is that what they call it? Too bad you didn't have a space condom to protect you from the life essences you were swapping. But yeah, it's totally like that Matrix, like, oh, and a part of you imprinted on me, and a part of me imprinted on her. So now the movie changes genres again to now it's a psychic detective movie where we need to hunt down this body-changing alien.
Yeah, because he can, like, sense, like, vaguely where the alien is going, and he can, like, see what she's doing.
But only sometimes.
Yeah, but only when it's, like, pertinent to the plot. Sees her, like, kill a farmer, like seduce him and kill a farmer.
But he dropped her off at Thurston Hospital after spending the afternoon with her. He was most reluctant to talk about it. The man's totally exhausted.
Thurston? Isn't that an asylum of some sort?
Yes, for the criminally insane.
They go to an asylum.
Yes.
Where they meet Dr. Armstrong, who is played by Patrick Stewart.
Now this is where I'm like, okay, now I'm falling in love with the movie. Okay, now I'm sitting completely forward. I'm glad you mentioned they go to an asylum. His name is Armstrong. Armstrong R. Oh my God, we're just doing an H.P. Lovecraft thing now. So from being an alien movie and a zombie movie, now we're doing an asylum horror movie now. Just in the middle of this movie, we're having another movie.
Yeah. They go there because they're tracking one of the male aliens, and you think it's going to be like one of the crazy people in the asylum, and then they do the twist where, oh no, it's actually Patrick Stewart, and they inject him with this stuff that like sedates them, and Patrick Stewart just goes fucking mental.
What are you doing? Stay where you are. He's sick. Hampton, help us. I can't explain now.
Oh yeah, he howls like a banshee, and I'm like, now this is why you hire Patrick Stewart. He's one of our greatest living actors, not because his method is the best, not because he's always given the best material. No, it's because he's willing to make an ass of himself on screen and overact like a motherfucker. 3 lights! There's 3 vampire lights! Can't you see?
Yeah, he's convulsing on the floor, railsbacks on top of him. It's great. It's fantastic.
Love it. In interviews years later, he said that this was probably the darkest time in his career when he did this movie, and he only did it because he really needed the money, even though he thought the script and the parts sucked. But he loved Hooper. He loved the director. He only said nice things about Hooper.
That's what I've gotten from like reading interviews and seeing things for this film. It's like everyone seems to love Tobe Hooper, and I get why he seems like a kind of cool dude.
Yeah, all things considered. But yeah, truly in this scene with Patrick Stewart, we see the Patrick Stewart that we have now, who's been doing like American Dad for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the anything for a laugh. I will commit. I will give 110% to this part. Don't you worry. I'll kiss a man. I'll do whatever. Which I love. That's a whole big thing in this too, because, she starts manipulating Carlson through Patrick Stewart's body. And this is what the movie thinks is really scary. Oh no, he might have to kiss a man. How terrible. It's the 80s.
What do you want from me?
I love you.
But yeah, so they have what is basically a goddamn alien exorcism where they keep shooting him up with all these drugs, and there's a great bit where, like, the guy who works at the asylum, they keep asking, like, bring more drugs, bring more of them.
We'll definitely need more. Bring me 3 doses.
3? I'll take responsibility, Lamson. Sir Percy and myself. Just get on with it.
It's like, well, isn't that going to hurt his heart? It's like, well, how much more do you have? Well, we got to keep the alien in the body, so bring us like 3 more of your specialty mixed drugs. He's like, okay. And also, that guy is really tall. I didn't know if all the other actors were short, but the guy who plays the orderly is like super tall.
Yeah, he's like 6'7" or something. He's fucking massive.
Yeah, like they all step into the same room and he has to like step under like the doorway thing, and I'm like, oh, holy shit. What an interesting background actor. What was his story? What happened after this movie ended? Where did he go?
We also didn't talk about it, but they like during all this part, Falado's like talked about like he's kind of trying to give the movie some lore where it's like, oh, the vampires have been here before. They're like the vampires of like, you know, history and like lore and
chariot of the gods. They visited Earth before.
Yeah, and he mentioned he gets his hands on like a it's like some sort of like sword.
It's the weirdest sword I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like a sword, like tip of a spear sort of thing. That's apparently the thing that can kill them.
It's from the British Museum, and it's made of iron, but it only works if you can stab them under the heart. It's like, yes, that's where all the magic energy is held under I'm a fucking scientist, so listen to me, bitch. I know where it is. You gotta stab them, not in the heart, but under it.
The old way, Carlson. A leaded metal shaft penetrating not through the heart, but through the energy center 2 inches below the heart. Not steel, but leaded iron.
Yeah, they eventually like they kill, quote unquote, Patrick Stewart's character, and they transport him. They're planning on transporting him back to Falada for study and everything, along with the other guy. And it's when they're on the helicopter, Patrick Stewart just starts like vomiting up every bit of liquid in his body.
Yes, he did. This is one of those effects where I'm like, this would probably have looked great on VHS, but because the picture quality is so clean, I can see where it doesn't match up in this, you know, Blu-ray 4K.
You can see where it's just like a puppet head of that vaguely looks like Patrick Stewart. But the idea is that like it and his body and the other body are like coughing up all this blood that turns into the female vampire. She becomes like this. It's really quite cool. It's like this blood like woman who then bursts on the floor. It's really cool.
Very, very Ivan Ooze coded, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Which hey, that guy was also a very well respected British actor. How about that? But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's the money shot of the film, the crazy blood woman. Again, I was very much thinking, you know, with her head shape, it's very like serpentile. It's almost like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
But yeah, while all this is happening as well, like the infection has been spreading through London, so we get this funny shot of the helicopter. You think everything's like kind of fine because up until now, I don't think we've seen it. But like the helicopter lands and you just see like London. It's like chaos. like explosions and just utter chaos.
Yeah, again, shit really popped off, and now it's a zombie movie. Now it's you know, a Dawn of the Dead movie. Right here at the end of the movie, in the final act, and the characters even have a bit where they talk to each other and like, huh. Do you think that was her plan all along, to lead us somewhere else when she did this? Are we just really dumb? Did we just fall for an obvious trap?
Yeah, but it's really funny as well because you get these shots of like the city. They land the chopper at like, I think it's like the war room of like England's military, and like inside is like, it's kind of fine. It's all quiet. It's really funny when they reveal that. I think it's like one of the guys they go and see there to talk about like what's going on, and he's like very obviously like something's wrong with him because he's like sweating and he's like his eyes are like blinking like he's just like snorted a heap of coke.
now he's just a regular politician. That's how they all act.
Yeah, that's how British politicians look. Yeah.
Yeah, which meant the way that this movie just like it just hits that fucking shark jump and does not stop in the final act. Like, yeah, there's zombies, they're taking over the city. Oh yeah, the Prime Minister is a zombie too. In fact, everyone is a zombie when you weren't looking.
Yeah, we're just going to escape this facility now that's been overrun, and we got to fight like not zombie vampire people. And as you said, the movie just like doesn't stop from here. This is where all the budget went.
It really did. There's a blue skylight in this, Matt. There's a blue sky laser in 1985, and I'm like, wait, did this movie do that first?
Yes, the Marvel blue sky laser.
Has everyone just been ripping off Lifeforce this whole time?
Yeah.
That's what I really want to know, was Tobe Hooper just a secret genius? He saw the future, and he knew the future was blue sky lasers.
Yeah, but the blue sky laser is the energy, like, or the life force, like all the life force from all the people who who are getting infected is being gathered and is being beamed up to the ship, which is now in orbit around Earth, collecting us. And I think the idea is vaguely explained in the film, because like everything else, I think the idea is they collect it and then they like go off into the galaxy. It's like they're like food reserves, more or less.
That sounds about right. Again, yeah, the movie makes no attempt to try and explain Ava. It's just like, it's bad. We don't have to tell you. And it's like, okay, well, how are they going to find the head vampire and deal with this? Don't worry, she's calling Carson to come to him because the plot has deemed that that's what needs to happen.
She's drawing me, Kane. I've got to go.
And she's, of course, hanging out at like an old-timey Victorian cathedral because, again, hey, we're keeping it with vampires and everything. It's, again, very Hammer horror finale.
Yeah, she's like asleep on a crypt. She actually has clothes on this time.
Shocking. Well, it was chilly in the crypt.
Yeah. They finally let her. The movie union came in and said, no, can't have this anymore.
Yeah, again, you've hit one too many women. You've been way too weird and creepy. You got to at least give this woman some clothes.
Yeah. And it's also at this point where like Carlson again like leaves the film for a while.
Yes, he does.
Because he's not the main character. Like he hasn't. Throughout this whole part, he has not been the main character. The main character has been Colonel Kane.
Yes, Colonel Kane, who gets the action scene near the end.
Yeah, Peter Firth. Again, another British character actor who's done like upper scale things and is here like just like doing his best as like this kind of hardcore SAS guy.
Yeah, he Charlie Bronson's it all over the place. He basically gets to do his own little Resident Evil, driving through the city, running down zombies, shooting zombies in the head, getting into fights and everything. And I'm like, okay, now the movie has just changed genres completely as we've changed characters. His reasoning is also nuts too. It's like, okay, I need to leave the military encampment. I bet that Colonel Carson went back to the science factory where we've all been. So let's go to the science factory.
Yeah, and he goes back there. Carlson isn't going there, but he goes back there and he finds Falada has like killed one of the vampires with that like weird spear fucking thing. And this is where it's like, oh, this is full Hammer horror, because like the way like Falada is lit with like, you can't really see him, but because we see on Blu-ray, we can kind of tell he's in like makeup.
Yes.
Because something has happened to him. And we learn that, he has become like a vampire and his face gets all puffy and like explodes.
He sure is, and this is the point in the movie where I'm like, damn it, is anybody not a vampire? The Prime Minister's a vampire, Falada's a vampire, am I a vampire and don't even know it? When did that happen? And the movie's like, don't think about it. It doesn't matter, don't think about it.
It's one of those things that I think like, was there something cut from this guy, they got playing him. Frank Finlay, again, another like established actor. It's like, he feels like one of those guys where it's like, oh, you don't hire him just to appear in like 3 scenes. You hire him to like do the expository dialogue and like kind of sell it and everything. And he does that really well, but it feels like there's like a bunch of scenes of his that have just been cut.
Indeed. If nothing else, his death is pretty good. Like you said, when he gets all puffy and his face explodes, probably my favorite death.
Yeah, I do like as well that Kane just like pulls a gun on him and just like shoots him. And then, his face gets all puffy and he catches on fire, I think, at one point, and the life force gets sucked out of him.
Wait, if bullets work, why do I need the magic sword then if I just gotta hit the perfect shot?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
The answer is shut up and don't worry about it. There's literally 15 minutes left. What do you want to do?
Yeah, and as you said before, he gets like a Resident Evil moment. He's like running through the streets, shooting the zombie vampire people. Yeah, he ends up killing, I think, the final male vampire.
Yes.
He runs him through with the spear thing, all while Carlson has found the woman in the church and is planning on joining her and becoming a space vampire or like giving his life
or something.
Never really made clear.
It's not clear. What is made clear, though, is that he had been lying before to Kane and everyone else when he's like, oh, she bewitched me. She got in my mind. Okay, she did, but also actually those other guys didn't turn on each other and, sabotage the ship. Back when I said they did, that was actually me. I actually let her out because, the sheer unbridled force of my erection clouded my mind.
Clouded my American mind, yeah.
American mind, it's all I could do. And also the vampire woman's like, oh, don't beat yourself up too much. We actually change our forms. We look like gross bat creatures all the time. I read your mind, like in fucking Contact and created the ultimate female form for you that you could not resist in any way, shape, or form.
The bat form, like, I feel like we needed to see a bit more of, because we see it at the start, but we don't really see it. It's just kind of like glossed over. And then we see it when Kane kills the second male vampire. He like turns into it and it's like flapping its wings and it looks really cool. I really like the design of it.
He defeated him really fucking easy though. I'm absorbing unlimited power, and Kane's like, poke. Oh, I'm dead. Shit.
Yeah. Oh, no.
All this amazing power, the ability to travel through space and jump through bodies, nothing against one little pokey boy.
Yeah, that was at the British Museum for some reason.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't think about it too much.
And that's why I'm not afraid of any alien invasion, Matt. We have so many pointy things here on Earth that will protect us. Mankind has mastered pointy things, from, a board with a nail in it to old swords from British museums.
Yeah, that kill space vampires, yeah.
Yep, we are an advanced race who has traveled, the cosmos to be here now. Oh no, they've got pointies. And dead. But yeah, so Carson finishes his character arc, I guess, of I'm gonna fuck this vampire, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, no, so Lee there at the end, he's like, I don't want to do that anymore. This is scary.
Yeah. Oh no, she's talking about taking me back to her own planet and committing and everything. Oh, like that. Give me the sword, man. I'm just gonna do us both in at one time.
Yeah. Kane meets up with Carlson, making out with that vampire lady. She's like,
very awkwardly, might I say. They spent a lot of this movie making out. They have no chemistry, these two. It looks like he's trying to eat her face. You taste like barbecue.
It's because he's too tired. He just wants to go to sleep, and she's interested in something else. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh, geez, can we just get this over with right now? I got a meeting tomorrow. I got a headache. Oh, dang.
But yeah, Kane throws him the sword thing, and he stabs both himself and the woman, and kills them both.
And then in classic 80s movie fashion, it's like, oh shit, I guess that's the end, huh? We're kind of out of money. We can't really talk about what happened next or how anything was rebuilt. Cut to credits.
Yeah. Just it ends. The ship escapes. The way it's done, it's kind of cool because it's also kind of like a grim ending, because like you just see
it's a downer.
It pulls up on a shot of Kane, and there's just like bodies all everywhere through the street. And it's implied that, like, the aliens got what they wanted.
Yeah, it's a very vague ending.
Because the ship is, like, filled with energy, and then it just, like, heads off. So it's like, oh, they kind of got what they wanted. Cue the music. Everyone likes the music. End credits.
And we're done. Don't worry, this is canon. I'm sure we'll make dozens of sequels to this. I'm sure this will be a massive hit, and we can really flesh out the lore later.
Yeah, no, it was a complete flop.
Yeah, I wonder why a movie that feels like 5 different movies, has 3 different main characters, can get a little weird and leery in places.
Yeah, it's total canon fodder, I should say. But the book's ending though, I think Carlson survives. I think I read that like he managed to like work out how they do the life transference thing and was able to like become effectively immortal. And the book ends like a century later, where he's like still like kicking around on Earth. Yeah.
Well, shit, that's a very different movie. Then it becomes Highlander, as he has to fight other people with the Lifeforce to win the prize, because the Highlanders are also aliens, you see.
Well, yeah, it depends on which cut you talk about. With the Renegade cut, yeah. Sean Connery's an alien, but he's also Egyptian.
Don't make us talk about The Quickening, everyone. I want to talk about The Quickening.
Oh, we're going to talk about The Quickening.
Oh, fine, we'll talk about that, but we got to talk about the good Highlander first, because Highlander 2 makes no sense, even if you have seen Highlander 1.
Yeah, and then we got to talk about the other sequels as well that are all shit too.
Yeah, the sci-fi original made for TV movies made for like $20 and a handshake.
Yep.
Where they have a terrible remix of Princes of the Universe. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so that was Lifeforce, and god damn it, Matt. I knew that this is eventually where the show would go. It's like, yeah, I'll get Joel to watch some cool stuff he's probably never seen, and I'll get him to watch some crap too that we can talk about.
Oh, this is like the the cream of the crap, I should say. This is one of the better ones I've got in store for you, yeah.
Oh boy, to its credit, I will never forget I've seen this movie after I've seen it. This is kind of burned into my head now.
It is it's like big, it's bombastic, it's got, obviously, a naked lady through most of the film. The effects on it are, for the most part, pretty damn good. Yeah.
Suitably insane. And also, like, as we tried to showcase throughout this, an interesting film in this point in time in movie history, as it relates to all these different creators. I mean, Tobe Hooper would basically never really do anything as big as this ever again. He was kind of relegated to television and cheapo direct-to-DVD movies. I think this was probably the most expensive movie he ever made at a point.
I think so, yeah, because I think literally the year after this was made, he did Invaders from Mars, which didn't do too well, and I haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 in a long time, but I don't think a lot of people like it because it's like a comedy.
It is. I think people like it now in an ironic way. They can appreciate it because it's like, well, the series got much worse. I appreciate it for being funny. And also, Bill Moseley's good in that one, too.
That's true. And
it ends with a chainsaw duel.
Yeah, that's right. Dennis Hopper with a giant chainsaw. That's right. Yeah, but yeah, I think like this was like one of his last like big films. And then, as you said, yeah, he did a lot of TV and like, yeah, the movies he did after this just never really hit that high again.
No, kind of the original director jail, too, when we stop and think about it, where it's like, well, you're not cut out for this anymore. Time to go live out your exile in television land.
Yeah, which is a shame, because I imagine if you'd probably give him like a decent budget, he probably could have done something pretty damn good.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I would have liked to have seen him to take another actual stab at Chainsaw at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, that was Lifeforce, Matt. It was an experience, I'll tell you that much.
Did it drain the life force from you, Joel?
At moments it did, and then it kind of put it back, and I was kind of recharged, and then it took it away again. We traded it back and forth. You see, we snowballed our life force back and forth.
Yeah, so much so that by the end of it, you kind of feel like Steve Rail's back, and you just want to go to sleep.
Oh man, and that dang old,
just exhausted.
Dang old space vampires, dang old freaking life force, naked women's. That's a good way to put it. That's my review. Put that one on the dust jacket.
So that's the movie. It's a pretty okay effects movie if you just want to watch a cool effects movie. It's on 4K, so it's never looked as good as it has now. So, I think it's on some streaming service somewhere, or you can pick up the Arrow video copy like I did. And yeah, tell us in the comments what you thought of the film. If you've seen it before this, if you've seen it at all, whether you liked it, disliked it. And the next episode is a Joel choice.
Yes, again, I'm thinking we've done a horror, we've done a sci-fi, we've done an action. I think we should do a comedy next time, Matt, which is oftentimes one of the hardest things to talk about. But this is not a regular comedy, as we'll discover, and it gives us a unique opportunity to talk about a unique creator, a unique actor, and maybe we'll answer the question, are they good? Are they still good? Were they a good person? Were they a good character? I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. You can look forward to that coming very soon. This episode will be up probably by the end of August. But thank you everyone for joining us. And you got any parting words, Joel?
Dang old man, dang old life force man.
Dang old life force man. And until next time, I've been Matt.
I've been Joel.
Catch you guys later.